Now this wheel, it'll go either way. There's just a switch to change it. On off switch there, switch to change the direction. Are any of you left-handed and throw left-handed? Because you can do it on that wheel as well. Foot control, which if you let go it keeps going at the speed you've left it at, which I find good. It's nice and quiet, and you go slowly. Go very slowly if you want, and then leave it at that speed, which is quite handy if you've got a hairdryer on it. So I start off just by hand getting the clay somewhere round about the centre, in a fairly conical shape, and then I do something called ball and cone, where you probably call it coning, I don't know. I just do it the way I was taught when I was at school. Centering you do fairly fast. So, bit of water, wet hands, both hands on. So, cone, and then bring it down. I'm actually pushing it off centre. Can you see in the mirror? Is the mirror any good for you?
Yes, it's good.
So I'm conscious I have quite big hands, and sometimes people can't see what I'm doing because it's all hidden in the hands. Do this about half a dozen times, and you'll find that it gradually becomes more central. I tend to use quite a lot of water, more so than others do, I think. I noticed the other day when Frank was here, he was throwing in much less water than I do.
Are you squeezing that from the base?
I'm squeezing from the base,
yeah,
and then pulling it up, yeah.
I don't make mine go up that much.
No, I don't. I'm not sure I make mine go up at all.
And if you look, I mean, effectively what I'm doing is, can you see in the mirror?
Yeah.
I'm pushing it off centre. As I push it off centre and push down, it just goes down. It's going a bit off centre now. So I'm using this part of my hands, that hand, and that part of that hand, and push down to make a sort of pillbox shape. I've still got a bit of a wriggle on it, so we'll come up again, squeezing, pulling up.
There's something very mesmerising about watching this, isn't there? You can't be stressed when you watch this.
Okay,
Yeah.
quite on, is it? Still not quite there. The other thing that it's doing, apart from gradually working towards it being central, is what they call aligning the particles. So instead of being the particles of the clay being randomly aligned all over the place, they gradually align so that they are round in a circle, which allegedly is a good thing. I'm not absolutely sure why. Whether it gives extra strength.
Well, I was taught that clay is like hexagonal plates.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So it's near enough central. I then go down with my thumb, and you'll see I'm bracing my arm, left arm on here, right arm here, and then my left arm is supporting my right wrist. Thumb down to as near as I need to get to the base, allowing probably a centimetre or a bit less, half an inch or a bit less. thing people find difficult to judge. But the way I think I'm doing it is I am judging the distance between there and there.
Your thumb, yeah.
That's the way it feels to me. If you're in doubt, we'll just stop the wheel, stick a pin in and see how deep it is. Now I'm pushing out horizontally my right thumb just a bit, and I'm going to go in with two thumbs. Now a lot of people don't do this, but this is the way I was taught. Going with two thumbs, and all we're doing really is widening out the hole. Right, and now I'm going to push my thumb ends horizontally across to make a flat base. And then move my hand so that I can squeeze between there and there and there and there and lift. So I squeeze and lift, bringing the clay up a bit, just a bit to start with.
Well, that's new to me. Yeah.
Well, to a certain extent, it's what works for you. I mean, that
Yeah.
was the way I was taught as a 13-year-old. So we'll go a bit slower. And the next thing to do, while I can get in there with my longish fingers, is to flatten off the base and make a nice corner. Between the base and the wall. Right. Now we talk about compression. You can do that by running your finger end or your thumb backwards and forwards to the centre, and then back out to the outside, then to the centre and back out to the outside. Or if you're of a certain width, you can just use something like that. Push it down and compress it. Okay. Does it just as well. Now I'm going to collar in a little bit, and by that I'm going to be that point, and that point will be in contact with the clay, and you can do it again like that later on, but in this case I'm going to just put my hand there and then just push across and lift up, and as I do, gradually speed up. That's the secret with collaring in, is you speed up. It seems counterintuitive, but that's the way to do it, as they say, as Mr. Punch used to say. Okay, now the next thing is to pull the clay up. Now some people use, well, the purists use the knuckle, but I've never been very good at that, but I'll have a go. Using the knuckle end, squeezing between my knuckle end and my fingers are inside. And trying not to let the clay come out. So if you think about it, the clay wants to do two things. It either wants to collapse, or because of the peripheral speed of the wheel, it wants to spin out. So that's what you've got to try and stop it. You've got to be working against. And don't forget, you're the boss. So you can collar in again. So the top's collared in. Now I prefer to use a sponge at this stage. And so I'm lifting between the sponge end with my finger and my fingers inside the pot. I'm gradually slowing down a bit now. Because with the sponge I find I've got more lubrication. Something on the inside of the pot that's like a bit of rubbish or something in the clay.
I tried it with a chamois because you can sort of feel the pot then, whereas with the sponge
Yeah.
I would imagine you can't. Is it hard to feel the pot?
Well,
I usually use a sponge, and
Yeah.
normally because I've got longer nails, and I find it does.
I have a
good.
sponge in my hand, but I use my finger and I just use the sponge and squeeze it to lubricate my finger,
Yeah.
my knuckles, and bringing it up.
Yeah, can you see in there? That was a lump of something.
Oh yes, there is. Yeah.
On there, there's a needle. I think
Left hand side.
stuck in that.
Oh here.
Stuck in there.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's it. Thanks. Now you can do this sort of thing just to. I think it's an air bubble. No, not to worry.
Was the hard with it?
Yeah, probably a little bit, yeah. Hard bit of clay clips. Right, so I'm going to collar in again, pushing and using right index finger, right thumb and right middle finger crooked. Okay. And I'm going to try and cut it.
I've not used my fingers enough. Do it like that. No, I've not used it now like that. No. And then you've got 3 points to hold to it, haven't you? Yeah.
Careful with this weak point. Right, now I've brought my thumb out so that I can brace it against the other finger. Okay. Okay. Now, ribs. So I need. Is there a straight one there?
Straight one.
Yeah.
That's a curvy one. And then
No.
a straight one. No.
Yeah, that one I like.
That one.
And that one.
That one.
That one's alright. Yeah. So you now can use ribs. And here I'm pushing the rib. My fingers that are on the inside. It's actually, ribs are quite useful for sorting out when you've got problems. Okay.
Are you using the rib to lift it or just to?
No, to just straighten
It up.
make it more,
Yeah.
try to make it more parallel.
Yeah.
So it's a cylinder rather than conical or. Alright, so there's a cylinder. Bit of a mess inside because of that air bubble or whatever it was, lump or
You
something.
can see it on the outside as well as on the inside. Just go right through whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, not to worry, I'm just going to use it to.
Possibly get my chamois that I had managed to
What's somebody else's chamois?
I think I managed to put the chamois in the reusable stuff.
You wouldn't be the first.
So, having said that,
Won't be the last
Certainly
either.
won't be the last.
alright, not the best cylinder I've done, but it'll do. Okay, now then,